From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Monday, November 7th, 2016. Silver is trading at $18.20 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,287 per ounce. And according to BitcoinAverage.com, the average price of Bitcoin is $709. Antiwar.com reports over the weekend, Pentagon officials confirmed that the U.S. was behind airstrikes against the North Afghan village of Buz Kandahari, which they conceded likely resulted in civilian casualties. The attack was initially reported to have killed at least 30 civilians, with subsequent reports from locals saying they'd buried 36 killed in the attack. The Thursday morning strikes were called in after a pair of U.S. soldiers were killed in fighting with the Taliban, and Afghan officials claimed the locals were being used as human shields by the Taliban when the airstrikes were launched against the village. The villagers, however, insist the claims are false and that there were no Taliban in the village at all at the time, pointing out that no Taliban were hit in the airstrikes. The Pentagon has subsequently promised an investigation, saying they need to determine the facts. Despite angry protests from the villagers and promises of investigations from the U.S. and UN, both predicated on the idea that large numbers of civilians were killed, the Afghan Defense Ministry continues to change its story to prevent the attacks as justified. Previously claiming fighters were hiding in the city, they now report that the Taliban leadership lived in the villages and were targeted, even though the weekend burials appear to have included no military-aged men. Are you an advocate for free market money? Do you promote Bitcoin as an alternative in a fiat-centric world? Then you need Spend-A-Bit in your arsenal, the search engine for things you can buy with Bitcoin. Spend-A-Bit aggregates millions of products from thousands of Bitcoin-enabled merchants. Keep your money in the free economy. Visit spendabit.co today. Bitcoin merchants, ask about our merchant suite to reach even more customers. Spendabit.co. UPI reports 2 people in Delaware were hurt when an air cannon exploded during an annual pumpkin hurling contest. A woman was sent to the hospital in critical condition, and a man has non-life-threatening injuries after the Pumpkin Reaper exploded during the launch at the annual Pumpkin Chunkin. The Pumpkin Chunkin is an annual event in Bridgeville, Delaware, similar to others around the country, involving teams competing to see who can chunk a pumpkin the farthest using a catapult or other mechanical device to do so. When the pumpkin was launched from the Pumpkin Reaper, the trapdoor where pumpkins are loaded separated. It and other parts of the device were blown into the air, with a large piece hitting a woman in the head and face. The woman was stabilized and then flown to Christiana Hospital, where she is in critical condition, according to a spokeswoman for the Delaware State Police. In addition to the woman, another man received minor injuries and was being treated at a local hospital. Police say they are unsure why the cannon exploded. They said injuries were limited because the area where the cannon exploded is roped off from the general public. The Pumpkin Chunkin has been canceled the last 2 years since a volunteer spotter, whose job it is to measure the distance that the pumpkin traveled, flipped while riding an ATV and sustained a spinal injury. For nearly 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals like gold and silver. They also take Bitcoin for precious metal purchases and have permanently removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. Reuters reports the FBI said on Sunday it stood by its earlier finding that no criminal charges were warranted against Democratic presidential candidate Hillary Clinton for using a private email server for government work, lifting a cloud over the candidate's head just 2 days before the U.S. election. FBI Director James Comey made the announcement in a letter to Congress, saying the agency had worked around the clock to complete its review of newly discovered emails and found no reason to change its July finding. Comey said, during that process, we reviewed all of the communications that were to or from Hillary Clinton while she was Secretary of State. Based on our review, we have not changed our conclusion that we expressed in July. At a rally in Michigan, Trump questioned the thoroughness of the FBI review and said he was confident the issue would not go away, telling a crowd in Sterling Heights, "The investigation will go on. The rank and file of special agents won't let her get away with her terrible crimes." You can support FPP Radio by joining the Fans program. Fans are friends, allies, and Numeri supporters. To learn more or to join the Fans program, visit fans.fppradio.com. This has been FPP Radio News. Online at fppradio.com.